Yay. All right. So we are filming this. For you guys, that means if I said something you can't remember, you didn't jot it down, you can always get back to it on the web. We're going to put it up on our YouTube channel, the Awakening YouTube channel. And for those who didn't come because of whatever, then they can see it too. So either way. A little thing I want to talk about before I get into this is I am not like a rep for Standard Process, okay? I don't get endorsed by them or make money off them. I truly think it's like the best cleanse I've ever done because it's not gimmicky. I can't stand those like lemonade ones or, you know, don't eat food for 10 days and, well, no kidding, if you're gonna lose weight and probably like screw a lot of things up with your health. So with that being said, this to me is very comprehensive, and if you do decide to do it, the whole point of it is that you develop these new habits of eating and preparing and thinking of food that set you up for success, because you have to do it for 3 weeks. You should, and if you're going to do it, commit. Don't chicken out, okay? It's not always easy to start out, but just have the mental fortitude to see it through, and I don't think you would regret it, okay? Good deal. So, this is my agenda. Before I pick apart the whole program and what you do, you guys should understand kind of the rationale for considering purification or detox, okay? So we need to talk about what a toxin is and how do you know if you're toxic. Hint, hint, some of it is on the paperwork you have, some of it. Exposures to toxins, like where are they, where do they come from, okay? How do they affect your health, can you measure it? Organs responsible for detoxification and explaining the kits. Like this alone, I could all make separate workshops. So I'm going to give you the important stuff. It's going to be like the nuggets, and then we're going to focus on really the how-to, okay? Does that sound good?
Sure.
If anyone needs me to clarify, you know, just stop and let me know, okay? So toxins. Here's the definition straight out of the dictionary. A toxin is a poisonous substance that is a specific product of metabolic activities of a living organism, aka a human, or an animal, or even a plant, believe it or not. And it's usually very unstable, notably toxic when introduced into the tissues and typically capable of antibody formation. So here's your Dr. A answer. It's a harmful matter. It's harmful. So we don't need to get like all in the whole dictionary explanation of it, but understanding it can negatively impact your physiology, your health, and they're out there, okay? So we're going to dive into that a little bit more. There's two categories of toxins, and we're going to kind of dissect it. There's internal and external. So internal, as you guys can probably imagine, is your living organism, correct? And you're really walking chemistry and physics and anatomy. So when you eat something, the body has to break it down. If you get sick, your body has to adapt and fight to it. You're constantly making toxins to a certain degree because that's normal physiology, okay? That's normal. There's byproducts of waste. I mean, hello, right? We have to excrete it one way or another. So here's that. I mean, this, again, says up top, we're burning energy to rebuild tissue, replace what's worn out. Again, don't forget what directs tissue building. Your nervous system, your brain, and everything else. I'm not getting into chiropractic, just understand the hierarchy. This down. Organs work because of command from the neurology, okay? And then you have this overwhelming task of constantly, your body's dealing with whatever you're putting into it, on it, through it, the whole shebang, okay? So clearly things will accumulate naturally, and then some. I hate to say it, but we're going to talk about that in a minute, okay? So internal toxins, the body is adapt to breaking down, and I'm not going to get in the anatomy of it, but cells like lysozymes and things like that, they can literally deal with waste and trying to minimize the impact on your overall function, but to a certain degree, right? We all have garbage cans at home. You can stuff stuff in it quickly or slowly, and it overaccumulates if you don't put it, if you don't dump it, literally, right? So if you've never dumped, oh, that sounds bad, maybe I need to go. If you've never purged what's in the system, it's going to accumulate and can have negative repercussions, okay? So right here, where it becomes an issue is when it accumulates, okay? We're constantly producing toxins because we're constantly, you know, breaking things down and building things up and going through that cycle, but sometimes we don't actually really address just giving the body a reset. All right, so toxins can clog your system, force the body to spend more energy to simply function. So things that shouldn't be taxing at all, like, you know, digesting a cheeseburger can become like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to do anything. This is very normal, okay? So we're going to talk about that. Things that can affect your internal toxin levels can be basic as everyday medications. So I am not here to poo-poo medicine or, you know, say you're bad for taking medicine. None of that. Just understand that's one thing on top of what you do throughout the course of your day that makes it a little bit harder for your body to just kind of get ahead, okay? And P.S., by the way, if in fact you do decide on purification, you don't stop your medication, okay? And if you have questions about your medication, don't ask your chiropractor, please, though I love you. Ask your prescribing doctor, who knows what you're on and why and the dose and the whole shebang, okay? So, built up internal toxins, here's some examples that I see a lot when I'm reading charts of people coming in. Proton pump inhibitors for people who have like reflux, right? This is common, antacids. Slow digestion leads to reduced ability to absorb your vitamins, which is interesting because, again, for those of you who supplement, if you've ever measured your blood levels before and after, sometimes though you could be taking the best one, your blood work may not budge, and it could be because you're simply not absorbing it. Okay, so I'm one of those, funny, with my vitamin D, but it's not about me, just an example. So chronic infections, sinusitis or dysbiosis of the intestinal tract, meaning your gut's not moving. You have problems eliminating. You're constipated or you eat something and you get all bloated and it's like an issue, okay? You have a lot of food stuff going on. Allergic reactions or result, immediate and delayed. Now this is a big one now, and I don't know that we're becoming crazy about it, but I really think that this whole industry, it could be a whole other workshop, GMOs and whatnot, where things like gluten, dairy, eggs, and corn, big time allergies. So the body, if you eat it, can't comprehend it, has a reaction, and then you got to start from there, okay? Elevated liver enzymes. There's something called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It affects about 30% of Americans in this country. Fatty liver disease used to just be affiliated with alcoholics. That's a byproduct of drinking too much. Now we're seeing it with people who aren't alcoholics, and the reason being is because our diets are toxic, and usually in the form of fructose. And what's fructose? High fructose corn syrup. If you're a soda drinker, if you're a prepared meal person out of a box with all these things, and again, I'm not judging this. We're busy and we have to go, right? You guys are laughing. No, that's common.
Conversation
yeah,
before
it's common.
A little bit of soda
It's
issue.
good. Soda, that's all right. That's all right. Switch to wine. No, just
I don't like it. I don't like it.
really, that's Dr. Egg. Long-term use of Tylenol. Obviously, Tylenol slows up the liver, and I think we all know this now. We're becoming more aware of the, excuse me, black box warning and things like that. Okay, so these are just common. These are common. This is common in the American culture. Okay, so these can help kind of fuel your toxicity levels within the body. Remember external toxins. So what do you think? Stuff you can't control necessarily. Okay, and I hate to say it, but we live in a great world, but it's pretty toxic. You know, in New Hampshire, not as bad. Not like if you're in LA or Atlanta, things like that. But these are things outside the body that you can absorb. So your skincare products, your cleaning products, not to make you a freak about it, but you should really be thinking about what you touch when you do stuff, because it takes 2 seconds to absorb through the skin into your bloodstream. So, you know, being cognizant of making greener choices helps reduce it, okay? Right down here, this is the take-home point. So even if you're trying to avoid external toxins, it's good to have mindfulness of what you can control, but you can't control it all. So just accept it, okay? That's just the world we live in. That's it. So with that being said, here's a list. Oh, here, you should actually know what is toxic, right? So you can try to identify what to avoid. And these are, again, most common ones. Smoke, smog, debris, again, nice. We have good air in New Hampshire, so this one's not as much of a concern for us. Heavy metals, arsenic, nickel, and lead. I hate to say it, but even the meat you eat if you are buying conventional like chicken, you know, even if it's like the green chicken from Hannaford or something like that, a lot of times they put arsenic in the chicken food and beef them up. So again, mindfulness of it. Mercury, that's common in your big fish, right? And a little bit, whatever. But you know, if you're eating like tuna 5 times a week, not the best choice, okay? We can mix it up. Lead, aluminum, this is a big one. Now it's implicated with Alzheimer's. So you know they don't exactly know what causes Alzheimer's, but this is a big player that they've been investigating. So antiperspirants or deodorant. If you've never read your deodorant, which why should you? You should. Because chances are if you're using like no sweat, no stain, no funk under your shirt kind of stick, it's got that in there, okay? Antacids classically have aluminum too. So mold, this is a tough one. Workplace and at home, like maybe you can have kind of someone check in what your living environment is like, but if you work in a big building, you know, consider it, but good luck. Air quality kind of coincides with that. This one, oh, you go nuts. GMO foods or crops. So, do you guys know what a GMO is? Anyone? And if not, don't worry. So essentially they create these super crops. So if you want to grow, it started in the corn industry really. They want to grow corn in acres, right? Thousands of acres of corn, but not have pesticides eat the product. This is the government essentially, right? So they went to the lab and they manufactured this version of a seed that it was essentially spliced with Roundup. That's not a joke. So it's a pesticide resistant corn that you can plant that actually, when bugs eat it, they just die. So it's genetically modified. Corn's a huge player, not just in food, but in body products and things like that. And they've done that. Like if you go grocery shopping, and we'll talk about this in a minute when we get to the diet part of it, if you're buying produce that on the PLU sticker starts with a 4, that's a non-conventional, non-organic product, and it can be okayed by our own government to be a genetically modified one. They don't have to label it, okay? So this alone I've done lectures on, and maybe we should do one here because it's asinine, but it's reality, okay? Chemicals and cleaners, I talked about this, and this one, bisphenol A and phthalates found in soft plastics and canned goods. So back in the day, all the Nalgene bottles and stuff, right now we've moved to stainless, which is always best. If you can drink out of glass or stainless steel, that's what you should be doing, okay? The bisphenol A in plastics, even if it's eliminated, now they've come out with bisphenol like D, E, and F, and sadly there's no real evidence to show that it's not any more or less toxic yet, okay? So don't go crazy, but just be mindful of things in your house and in your life that maybe are compounding this, okay? So here we go, physical manifestations of toxicity in the body, food cravings, weight gain without changes to your diet or your activity level, problem sleeping, brain fog, big one. This is a big one. Low libido, joint discomfort, because if you're toxic, you're inflamed. And that's when you wake up in the morning, I mean, you could wake up in the morning sore because you went to the gym or something, I get that. But this big ones, I see this a lot, and that probably third. Autoimmune diseases. So think about it, if you're ingesting too many toxins and the load is too great in the body can't comprehend itself anymore. It starts attacking its own tissue. That's autoimmune disease, and they're prevalent right now in our society. Part of it, I think, is due to leaky gut also, but again, you can eat your way there. I hate to say it. So we're going to learn how not to, okay? So measuring toxic load. So the company's standard process has a lot of resources for people who want to use it. One of which you have here is called your system survey form. Another, which I did not distribute, is the toxicity questionnaire. So I didn't want you to have to fill out like 5 forms, okay? But that is available on their website, standardprocess.com. If you Google Purification, you can take the toxicity questionnaire. It's a front and back. Front is internal, back is external. Kind of measures where you're getting most of your load from. But for these symptom surveys, what I want you guys to do, and not right now, but in the future, is score it. So what you do is in each group, you're going to count how many 1s, 2s, and 3s you have. Total up at the bottom. I have 3 1s, 4 2s, and 2 3s. Okay? And then you're just going to add those numbers straight across. So you have a total number. Fair, easy enough, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what once you've done that, how it breaks down is the questions have been like specifically asked to kind of pinpoint which organ systems in the body are most taxed with you. And people who do the purification, I make them fill it out before, and then I make them fill it out after. And I don't score them and I don't judge them, it's for you. It's not to get hung up on a symptom, it's for you to have like an awareness like, oh my God, like I do get hot flashes and I didn't notice that. I mean, well, you would, but you know, okay, you get the gist of it. So once you've added up, and if you guys want, we can make sure we have this available to you after. This is kind of like the breakdown of your groups, okay? One is sympathetic dominance. You're in fight or flight. You're pumping tons of cortisol through the body. You have elevated heart rate. You have tachycardia. You're at risk for hypertension or punching someone in the face, okay? Or all the above. You are in flight or fight mode. You are ready to go, okay? Group 2 is just the opposite, the parasympathetic dominance. Now you're driven more on the GI stuff, reproductive stuff, which sounds good, but too much of it isn't, okay? 3, sugar. What do you think a common one I see a lot? This, sugar handling. The body is like, the pancreas especially is having a hard time with it. 4, cardiovascular systems are concerned. 5, we got liver gallbladder issues, possibly, all right, or a little stress there. Digestion, so that's obviously referring to large and small intestines, mostly, okay. 7 is endocrine. Thyroid, pituitary, adrenals, ovaries, testes, right? Those are all endocrine organs. And then 8, B vitamin deficiencies, okay? So, is anyone jotting that down? Yeah, okay, so tell me when you think it's, like, I don't want to, like, rush through it and have you, like, mid-writing it down. Let me know when it's a good time, and I'll flip the side. So, it's a good, yeah, go ahead, Melissa.
So there's 7A, B, and C, so how does that work for group 7?
Well, the B is going to be the group 8. Yeah.
But then
Then there's group 8.
within the
C or
7, there's 7A, 7B, 7C.
D and F also.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but all the 7s are still
Are
going to be
all
right
seven.
under
Oh, okay.
endocrine. Yep, what they're doing is, I misunderstood you, is they're itemizing it out by endocrine organ. Okay? So yeah, that's kind of how that goes. So there's a lot of questions, no doubt. It's to create like an awareness of where you are right now with your health. Okay? You guys good? Nope. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't total it.
Each one is like 2, 4,
Yeah,
6,
so there's like,
2, 4.
nope, it'd be 1, 2, and then 2. Okay, and then you would add this. So 1, 3, and then 7.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good inventory, and again, if you're more worried about the toxicities, I'm more worried about how it implicates your health, but which is why you got this form. But if you're worried about the toxicities, you can always print that out and fill it out. Okay? All right. We good? We're good. Okay. So organs of detoxification, clearly we have the liver. That's a big one, right? We all know it regenerates, which is good. It doesn't mean you can just abuse it because there's a timeline there. But it breaks down fats, proteins, carbs, kidneys, small and large intestine. So this small intestine is where the majority of your digestion actually occurs, the breaking down of food. Your large intestine is the big one for letting fluid in so you can eliminate. So one thing I do want to point out, and I mentioned to a lot of you patients, from time to time right here is you're going to see this little blurb, produces antibodies. Antibodies are immune cells. They're so the bulk of the immune system actually lies in your large intestine, about 3/4 of it. Okay? So it's not just about being able to have a good bowel movement, it's keeping you on track to fighting off invaders and things like that are trying to knock you down in your health. All of these organs are specifically targeted with the program to get the purge, if you will. I don't want to say the dump, right? The purge, okay? And everything has a whole food product in it to get these organs to just let go, really, okay? So contraindications, I'm starting with the negative because you guys should know who can't do this because it's not for everyone. You cannot do this if you're pregnant or nursing. You cannot, okay? If you are purging toxins out of the system, you do not want to purge them